In this video, we will show the molecular dynamics tools in Molsoft's ICM-Pro. Molsoft has integrated OpenMM molecular dynamics library as described in the 2017 paper by Eastman and colleagues. Thanks to GPU-optimized code, OpenMM can deliver impressively fast molecular dynamics simulations, achieving rates of around 3 to 12 picoseconds per second, or about 1 microsecond per day. This is even on relatively inexpensive hardware like a standard gaming GPU workstation. What makes this particularly powerful in our workflow is the direct binary interface between ICM and OpenMM. This allows us to seamlessly transfer molecular objects from ICM to the MD engine and then run the simulation and then collect the resulting trajectory snapshots directly into an ICM, what we call conformational stack. This tight integration streamlines like the setup, execution, and analysis of MD simulations within a single environment. Once you've run your analysis, you can plot parameters as a function of time, such as interatomic distance changes, RMSD versus reference, RMSF, contact areas, changes in torsion, and also our physics-based docking score. So if you had a ligand inside your MD simulation, you can calculate the RTCNN score and the physics-based score. And you can also make the movies as well. And also you can also cluster each snapshot for a diverse set of structures, which you can use in other tools in ICM. This slide shows the basic command line syntax for running molecular dynamics in ICM. The dynamic command includes a box option to define the simulation. So you have box dimensions and positions. That's the XYZ is a vector. You have the time in picoseconds and storage in interval picoseconds. That defines how often the trajectory snapshots are saved in the ICM stack. The command supports harmonic tethers and distance restraints, which you can enable with the tether and distance restraint options. These are useful for keeping specific atoms or distances fixed or within limits during the simulation. Snapshots are automatically stored in the ICM conformational stack at the specified interval, making them immediately available for visualization and analysis. It's important to note that explicit water simulations require proper atom type charges and a fully filled water box prior to running the dynamics. This is on the command line. We also have a script and also in the GUI, which I'll show as well. The ICM script is called run md openmm, and you will find it in the /bin directory of your ICM distribution. The script has all the basic preparations, such as fill the box with water, the amber type charge and type in charge assignments, as well as we support the NNAM1 BCC charge model for ligands, which provides a fast and reasonably accurate partial charges during the MD simulation. These charges are commonly used in combination with amber force field parameters for biomolecular systems, ensuring compatibility and reliability behavior during the simulations. You can also add restraints as well, and we use the amber force field shown here. So basically, to run it in the command line as a script, you call ICM, you call the script run md openmm.icm, and then there's some arguments for waters and other arguments you input as an ICM object, and the length of the simulation of the MD simulation you want to run. In the GUI, we have more exactly the same options. You tell ICM which ICM object you want to run the simulation on. It can either be in solution or in a membrane. These are two different tabs, gives you different options. And then you have the different options here to restrain or the time in nanoseconds, and the number of conformations you want to report, and use a GPU if available, and you can provide the GPU ID as well. Once the simulation has run, you can then I'll show you in a minute, you'll get a stack of conformations. You just need to right click on the stack conformations and choose stack calculations, and you have a variety of different tools. So you have like RMSF, the root mean square fluctuation in MD. So it's a good measure of how much each atom or residue moves around its average position over the course of the simulation. It's useful for identifying flexible or rigid regions of a molecule. You also have the radius of gyration, which is a key metric in molecular dynamics, used to quantify the overall compactness or size of a molecule during the simulation. You also have the GBSA delta G binding estimate, which is the approximate binding free energy between the ligand and the receptor using a generalized Born, electrostatics, and surface area desolvation terms. And also we have the docking scores as well if you're running a simulation using small molecules. So working with membranes adds obviously a little bit more complexity. So unlike standard systems, you can't just use a regular barostat. A normal barostat will try to squeeze the entire box uniformly, which doesn't work well for bilayers because it distorts the membrane. So OpenM provides a special membrane-compatible barostat that maintains lateral pressure while keeping the bilayer structure intact. Another issue with membranes is embedding the protein properly. If you've not already embedded, you'll need to use a pre-equilibrated membrane, like a POPE, POPC patch that mimics published lipid compositions. And then when inserting the protein, you remove overlapping lipids. You need to take care. The gaps in the bilayer can fill with water, which leads to trapped water molecules or bubbles inside the membrane, which is not ideal. So we use in ICM a compaction step in our protocol to address this approach. And if you use the flag -M or use the membrane tab, then you can use in the membrane tab in the GUI dialog, you can use membrane. We often run short MD simulations on many ligands, typically from a virtual screening hit list as a kind of an extra filter. So, for example, in shallow pockets, some ligands may score well initially, but during MD sidechain, you see sidechain movements and the presence of water help reveal which ones are truly stable. The real binders tend to stay in place, like here. You see this after the docking, you run the MD simulations and you see there's not much drift. But in this example here, it's kind of an unstable pose. You're seeing many different conformations of the ligand. When you run this, you get a nice selection of statistics on RMSD and RTCNN score, and how the drift is, and the drift is also tabulated. There's another YouTube video on this. I'll try and put a link to it up here. And it's a very useful extra validation step in hit selection for experimental follow-up. This just have some slides on some test cases. These are very challenging examples. It's an MD refinement of PROTAC models using the ICM-MD. We begin by constructing the tripartite complex models using the PROTAC modeling method in ICM. And then they are refined using 100 nanosecond molecular dynamics simulations, which typically require 5 to 6 hours of GPU time. For each starting pose, we ran 5 independent trajectories to ensure comprehensive sampling of the conformational space. And you can see that here. There are 5 different runs. And to maintain the focus on the binding interface and avoid excessive drift, distal regions were restrained. So you see here and here. So here we focus on the refinement of the FAK1 VHL model using 7pi4 X-ray crystal structure. And this is the PROTAC again. So the initial structures were generated based on established templates, 5 NVX for VHL and 2 JKK for FAK1. We started the refinement from 2 different initial configurations, pose 4 and pose 3. Pose 4 was a better starting point with a VHL ligand RMSD of 3.1, while pose 3 was more distant with an RMSD of 5. And the corresponding RMSD plots on the right show that they track the progression of the 5 independent runs for these poses over the 100 nanosecond simulation, illustrating how the models evolve from their starting points to a very reasonable final RMSD after five runs. So here we can see a two-dimensional visualization of the 100 nanosecond MD refinement trajectories. These plots map the movement of the complexes for pose 4 and 3 throughout the simulation. Each color represents one of the 5 independent runs, allows us to observe the different paths the models take in the conformational space. So by comparing these trajectories to the target X-ray structure indicated here and here, you can see that the runs are successfully moving towards the native state, the MD simulation. This is a very example with starting pose number 7, where you can see that this region of the helix has very high deviation. This is the starting position, this is the X-ray. Despite this challenging starting point, the RMSD graph highlights a significant success in run 1, which is the blue line here, dark blue line. So over the course of the 100 nanosecond simulation, this specific trajectory shows a dramatic drop in RMSD, eventually falling below 2 angstroms. This indicates that the MD refinement successfully guided the model from a rough initial pose to a configuration that closely matches the X-ray structure, as shown in the superimposed protein here. So it's the X-ray in orange, and eventually after MD it became to within 2 angstroms of the crystal structure. So how do you do this practically in ICM? We first must open a clean ICM session. I was going to read in one UNL, which is a kinase. I'm going to delete the chains I'm not interested in, A to E. From B to E, we just leave the A chain here. It's got riscovatine bound. You can see it here. So for MD, we need to convert to an ICM object. I'm just going to close the terminal window here. So just right click, convert PDB, replace the original, go OK. And now it's converted. So now everything is ready. You can go to the mole mechanics menu, go to run MD simulation, choose the object, choose to solvate. You can have a relaxation step if you want to. The time in nanoseconds. You can select regions and put them into orange to restrain if you wanted to. So number of conformations, number of snapshots basically in 1 nanosecond, we have 50. Use GPU, and you can also run on the command line or run on the command line via the GUI here as well. And just go OK, and it will start the simulation. Once the simulation, you get another object called 1UNL_MD, and it has at the bottom here you can see the stack. So you can individually go through each member of the stack if you wanted to, just by clicking here. You can play the stack as a movie, so you can see the hydrogen bomb with the hinge and the P-loop moving. You can stop the simulation by clicking on this red button at the bottom, and I don't know, maybe just show it as a surface, and just so you can see the pocket changing, the volume of the pocket changing. Okay, so I'm just going to remove that, stop this. So now it might be nice to do the calculations that we discussed before. So if we right click on the stack here and choose stack calculations, we have the list of stack calculations here. So for example, you may be interested in ligand contacts. So if we select the ligand and then include individual residues, and the sphere radius for pocket selection is 5 angstroms, just go OK. It will do that calculation. And then you see this table showing you the contacts between the ligand and the receptor for the different residues in the binding pocket and the different conformations here. So you could also do some other, you get a table like this and you can cluster if you wanted to by the contacts. Other calculations, we may be interested in looking at how the neural network score changes. So here we need to make two selections. We need to, it says use green/orange for receptor ligand. So if you double click on the ligand, make it orange, double click on the receptor, it'll be green, and then go OK. And then we get a table with the RTCNN score. So the lower the score, the better the prediction. We don't need these lines, but you can see the lowest one is confirmation 7. If you double click, it will load it, and you can go through like that. And the rest of the calculations, you can build a tree if you wanted to, cluster, binding energy, area, radius of gyration. You can select a torsion and then see how that torsion changes during the simulation. Ligand contacts, RMSF, and distance. Distance, you can select a pair of atoms. So you could select like this hydrogen bond, see where, how that, and then you'd run it and you get a table with the distance between those two atoms. Okay, thank you very much.